Hi, this is Laura and welcome to another Hero Arts video. Today we'll be learning how to make this monochromatic happy birthday card. To get started, let's stamp the background. I'm using post-it notes here to mask off the bottom of the card. That way the ink only goes where I want it to on the top. I'm using a vine stamp and some chalk ink from the Pumpkin Patch Cue in a shade of yellow that's slightly darker than the front of my note card. That way it'll show up against the background. You'll want to stamp 4 or 5 times diagonally across your note card until you have a nice pattern that you're happy with. Then you can take off the post-it notes and you'll see the clean border along the bottom of the card. Next we'll create the ribbon border around the top. I'm using a 1/8 inch Japanese hole punch. You can use any 1/8 inch hole punch you have on hand. And I'm punching in the 4 corners, not measuring exactly, and then going back in between those and punching more holes. You'll have 5 across the top and bottom and 4 across the side. I'm using an embroidery needle here to help thread the ribbon through, and this ribbon is a 1/4 inch wide satin white ribbon. You'll start on the inside of your card, pull the ribbon through, and leave a tail on the end. You'll need that later to tie off. You'll go through the second hole, arranging the ribbon if you need to in case it gets twisted, and then back up through the third hole. You'll go back down through the second, and you'll continue this way all the way around the rectangle. This is a basic back stitch in embroidery. And keep in mind when you get started, you'll want to have at least 2.5 times the diameter or the length around your rectangle in ribbon, because you are threading on the inside and outside of the card, and you want to make sure you don't run out. Once you get back down to the original starting point, you can tie your ribbon in a knot and you'll end up with something that looks like this. Next, I stamped a sentiment off. This is the Sunny Happy Birthday sentiment, and added that to the front, and now I'm ready for my butterfly. I'm using a designer butterfly. I love this set. And I'm going to use 2 shades of yellow ink from the Pumpkin Patch Cue, the lighter shade for the center and a slightly darker shade for the edges of the wings. You'll see I'm going back and just dabbing it along the edges of the wings so that when I stamp it off I'll get that gradient look. You'll see that the center is lighter and the wings are darker. You can trim out your butterfly and you'll get something like this that wants to fly away. Now before I adhere this to my note card, I found these after I made my original sample, and these are stamens for flowers that are used in icing for wedding cakes. You can find those in your craft store, and they make great antenna for your butterflies. And the ones I bought even had glitter on the tips of them. So you can use a small glue dot and glue those to the back of your butterfly and then just trim off the excess. And that adds just a little extra dimension to your card. For the bottom of the note card, I'm adding a scalloped border. You can do this with scallop edge scissors. I had some pre-made that I'm using. And then take an art flower, fold it in half, add a button to the top, and then take some ink directly to, chalk ink directly to the flower. It adds dimension and makes the flower pop. And last we'll add some medium accent pearls to each scallop of the border, going all the way across. Once you've done that, your card will be complete and it'll look like this. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.